Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend. We are back at it, your favorite crypto trading show, Crypto and Coffee with the Trading Bros. I'm your host, Clutch Crypto. We got B. Wellington. And here's the big deal. Are the fireworks over? We had some pumping over the weekend. We had some dumping last night. So let's jump in. And New York just opened. And let's see what these guys are planning. Looks like we got a new lower wick to the downside. So, B. Wellington, what you got, man?
All right. Well, I just got taken out of my
On your trailing short
on that trailing stop
and
and take in.
profit, another great
Yeah,
day.
not
Man, dude, this is
yeah.
only
Already making
8:33
money
and you
this
don't
morning.
make
Yeah,
money today. I like
man,
it.
trying to, got to. That's the plan. That's why we're here. For anybody that's wondering, even though this is not financial advice, everybody needs to, and I'd like to kind of explain that a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Happy week. When we say it's not financial advice, all this means is you got to be accountable for your own decisions, and a lot of your decision making is based upon your time frame, your risk profile. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. I get a lot of calls about, oh, well, just tell me what to do. I can't do that because your uh, objectives and your time frame may be different. My time frame is hours, minutes. It's not, I'd like to be in a trade in a day and get out. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes a little bit longer than that. But, I have a pretty high risk tolerance because I have setups and I've watched this chart so many times. So, you know, yes, we can give you some areas of interest and we're going to come out with a Discord that can give a little bit more information and detail and work with people on a more, more of a personalized level. But, you know, what we're looking at right now is, and I will tell you this, what we're looking at right now is a very tricky week. We just had, a new month that started. We had a 3-day weekend coming off of a 3-day weekend. So, we have a shortened week, we have shortened liquidity, and screw it. Let's just hop into it. This is a chart that we always start off with on the daily, right? And this is something that, you know, I've been paying close attention to, which is what I deem as the setup. And what that setup means is that these EMAs that come across, it's basically you have this crossover, and this eventually people are going to call this a death cross. I don't know if people are starting to call it that yet, but this is your death cross. This is on ETH USD.
On the daily
Uh,
time frame.
the daily time frame. So this 200 and this 800, as it gets closer, the what everyone's going to start talking about. I say everyone, that's mainly crypto Twitter, which which is a lot of people advise in the news media, like to come in and say this is the death cross, and this death cross basically means that we're going down. So as we get closer to this death cross, you start to see some reaction because a lot of folks that are anticipating earlier are starting to go short. And so you have these clearing areas like the move that we had up here and the move that we have up here. The reason why this is tricky is because it really depends on how many people take this short, depending on how much this will move back up in order to clear that. But ultimately, we're going to go back down. So, what everyone is anticipating is okay, as these shorts start to build in this area, I've got this box here because I think this is going to be an area. If we do get a lot of shorts that build up, that will come up to this area in order to scare off the shorts. And then ultimately, when you liquidate all those shorts, then continue to the downside. I mean, we've got this wick right here as well, which tend to be recovered. And, I've got a couple lines on here. The first being 630, 630. What is that? 653. My eyes. And 653, which is an intermediary point. And then ultimately, this red line is what I would call, my projected bottom. But this can change, right? So just, a lot of the things we talk about is liquidity in the market. But based upon liquidity and the patterns that we see right now, this 300 area is an area in which I think we'll start to get some where we'll actually see a bottom. Now we may come back up into this area. We may come back all the way up here before we get to that bottom. But if you look at the volume, we had a little bit of volume that came in. All the volumes that's coming in is coming in on the negative side. And so volume continues to decline, and this setup continues in the direction that we've been talking about for seems like forever, but it's been playing out exactly the way we've been talking about. In this chart, this kind of narrows down price a little bit further for those that are on more of a shorter time frame. And so we're somewhat at a critical point right now as well. So we've had this move up. I mean, we've had a 3-day weekend. And so New York was closed yesterday. And so we've had this run up, man. We had this nasty wick right here. I tweeted about this. This is just nasty.
Oh, man, dude, yes. I was at the chart yesterday when that happened.
That's on the 1 minute.
It was a quick $60 wick, man. It was they were after somebody there.
When I saw that wick, I thought I was like on the 15-minute chart. I thought I was like on the 20-minute. That was on the 1 minute. And so basically what that is, that's clearing room, right? And so, one of the things that we like to look at is when you do get these wicks that move up, these are basically imbalances in the chart. And so immediately after that wick hit, I text you, Brandon. I said, look, they're going to, or Clutch. I text you, Clutch.
Okay.
And I told you, I said, hey, man, I think they're going to recover that wick. And so this box here, just kind of give you an idea of the thinking process that we go through, is that, we've had kind of this head and shoulder. So this would be the head, this would be the shoulder. Normally your third shoulder comes right above this shoulder here. So this would be high ADR. So I was looking for us to get that. But again, this depends on the amount of liquidity that comes in the table. So if you had a bunch of shorts that are up here, then yeah, they're going to come in and take all of that, out. And then you're always looking for a retrace back into the to the 200, especially on the hourly. Also, we're here at this pivot point. So we never got up to this area. We did come back and we are retesting that 200 now. So we'll have to see if that holds. If this does hold, we should come back up, maybe get into this box once again. We've got this 800 up here as well, which is only at last week's high, but we got this peak at 1280, which is really, if we move out of that 1280 peak, then we start talking about recovering some of these vector candles here. And as you can see, and we talked about this yesterday, you brought this up nicely, this 1800 would come into play. So, let's be careful, about that, using your stops and making sure you're using good risk management when you're taking your trades. Which I will also tell you is that doesn't matter what we tell you, risk management is the key to 100%. Everything, because the market's so choppy, it wants to take you out. And so, you got to be really strategic of where you're putting your stops, making sure that they're behind some of these liquidity walls, or, and not to be in the crowded trade. But just to kind of get back on subject, we've got these vectors here. So these really green vectors that are here, they normally come back and revisit these areas. They take out this liquidity because this is built up liquidity here. And this is also yesterday's low and also the psychological low as well. So it's a possibility for us to get here. So we're kind of in a weird situation, not a weird situation, but I mean, we're in this situation pretty often, but it could come back up and save these vectors for later. I mean, we also have vectors down here. I mean, we're anticipating us to get back down to these $993,000 area. So we'll just have to see. So be really careful if you're taking any longs right here in anticipation of this moving back up, because we do have these vectors down here. If you are taking shorts, just be aware that we're at this pivot point. We're also about to hit psychological high and low ADR for the day, which could reverse price back up for the day. So again, I'd be very, especially when we had a day out yesterday, volume doesn't look, great on the 1 hour. So for a long, I would be looking for, well, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what I look for. I would anticipate us going back up, but I would also like to see us revisit these lows first before we head back up.
Well said. Well said.
Because it really does depend on some of the things we're going to talk about with high block, book map, things of that nature on smaller time frames. This is the 14-minute. We just had the cross, right? Here, which is a cross for it to go to the upside. And then we've come back down and, looks like we may cross back over again. Again, volume for the positive side doesn't look great for a move to the upside, but we did just have this cross. We are coming back into these EMAs. Again, this is a very area of uncertainty, I would say is probably the good word for it. So we'll just have to wait till this plays out. I mean, the market just opened. So, we've got to take a look at what is going on there. So if we go to things that we like to look at, like open interest on Ethereum on an aggregated basis, we've had this move up, we've had this move down, we've had some liquidations because OI is going down, but we're still starting to build. So people are buying into the dip. What this tells me is people are buying into the dip. If they're buying into the dip, that means there's liquidity below. If there's liquidity below, then there's a chance that we go and get it. So looks like things may be moving to the downside if this continues. Funding rate is kind of telling us the same thing. You've got a lot of these exchanges, larger exchanges, always look at Binance, both coin margin and USDT margin, Bybit and FTX, and all these are very positive at the moment. And again, all that means is that there's more longs on that exchange than shorts. This is just kind of a sentiment meter. I mean, it's nothing that you put too much value in, but from a sentiment standpoint, I always like to look at FTX and Binance because there's some of the larger exchanges out there. And when they're positive, that just means that people are going long, or they've been taken out of their shorts, and all there's left is longs, right?
Exactly.
So we did have negative futures this morning, and they're continuing to go down. Normally, these, when they start off negative in the beginning of the session, they tend to recoup, maybe not even positive, but they recoup up to a certain amount. But we don't know. This is the Monday. This is the Tuesday, Monday. So
The Tuesday, Monday.
yeah. So some of the things that happened over the weekend may change some of our normal, or what you would call some of the normal patterns that are out there. But we'll see. It's still very early. But we've got oil over $100. It's actually come down from 110. So this is actually very positive. And then Bitcoin's down, but we're down across the board, which is not completely normal. If we look at things that are happening this week, this is the 5th. We do have a Fed meeting in a couple of weeks. So, everybody's going to prepare for that. When we start looking at this, so this factory orders, core capital equipment, S&P Global US, I'm just going to read them, but job openings is going to be a big one because in quits and FOMC meetings. So Wednesday always are good days, which is normally when we start to do the reversals, right? A lot of setups happening early in the week in anticipation of some of this news that's coming out. Foreign trade balance should be a very interesting topic as, your President Biden is talking about, reducing tariffs to try to, build relations with China. Once again, we also have some more employment report that's out there, which in my opinion is going to be something we need to watch very closely when we start looking at Fed mandates and things of that nature. As far as what they're going to do, they're going to have to get those things under control in the next couple of weeks. We got core CPI, retail sales data. I mean, this is a beautiful week, a beautiful couple of weeks of data. So that's all I got. I've been talking my ass off, but I hope somebody got something out of it. Let's figure out what is going on with
the rest of the rest of the world.
With the rest of the world, I
Yeah,
didn't bogarted all my time.
Let's check it out. This is like B. Wellington said. This is definitely going to be a very interesting day, no doubt, and weeks. So let's get this on the way. You probably can't see? Can you see?
I see TradingView.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is High Block Capital. What we look at every day on the show here. This is
multiple times a day.
Yeah, multiple times a day. So last night, prior to the drop that we had, I was up here looking at this peak right here at 1175, and we didn't have hardly any short. I mean, we had a very small number of short liquidations. We were over almost 800 long liquidations, and as you can see, we got a nice little reversal to the trend, and we worked our way down into the high 1090s, and we're starting to get some momentum to the upside right here. As you can see, a lot of people are still long here. There's still some really nice short liquidations below us. I think this one's around 90 something million. $91 million is right here at 1083. We've yet to recover that. As I mentioned, it doesn't take long at all for us to clear $4, $5, $6 billion worth of longs on the cumulative liquidation level delta. And so really key areas that we need to break above that 1171, and then we get up to that 1288. If we break out of that, I would definitely expect to see some higher prices, like you mentioned, up into the 1800s. But that's one of those things we got to wait to see if that's going to unfold. Big deal is where we're at. We need to if we get below down in this range, 1031, and even a little bit lower down to 1006, definitely expect some more movement to the downside. And we're kind of targeting around prior to New York Open, there's a lot of liquidity sitting around $1,000 on Bookmap. So let me pull Bookmap over here for you guys. And what you guys can see here is right now for the chart volume profile, we're hanging out in the middle. So we should actually cycle back up to about the 1110, 1112 area. And then one or two things are going to happen. We're going to get rejected and we come down, or we go ahead and break through and continue to get some momentum on the upside. Something that we pay attention to are open futures for the stock market, because a lot of times if you see futures in a negative setup, a lot of times they'll end up getting positive for the day and vice versa. So those are some helpful indicators. However, they don't always hold true, but helpful confluence indicators to kind of give you market direction. But what I find really interesting is when you see these big green bubbles right here with the purple squares, these are usually signs of reversals that a lot of longs have bought, and it kind of sets up for the trap for the longs, right? And then so you'll see a pullback and vice versa. When you see the big red come up with our green squares, that's really meaning that we're really starting to trap a lot of short people. So that's when you start seeing a reversal. So a lot of times we're able to play intraday trades off of this all day long. And guys, we've been seeing, trades 20, 30, 40, 50%. Sometimes we even get a couple 100%. Just trading these on the intraday, multiple trades a day. That's something we really want to bring to you guys on our Discord group that's getting set up. It will be finalized this week. And, we're just doing what we love and helping people achieve financial goals as well. Again, it's not financial advice, but we're pretty damn good at it. So for the long term, as you can see, we're working our way up here. 1110 is kind of the area that I'm kind of looking at for reversal. That's also up here close to the VWAP for people that like to trade with different indicators, VWAP, RSIs, etc. But as you'll see, as we continue to just scroll out to get a big view of the overall picture for market direction, I mean, we'll go all the way up to where you guys can see 2000. And it's the same story, guys. I mean, all long-term liquidity is to the downside. So anything that I feel like that's going to happen here in the near future, and near future is, next 24, 48 hours. Again, we don't have any long-term liquidity popping up. It could absolutely possibly do that. But it looks like overall we're favoring prices to the downside. So us seeing some either some choppy ranging or just some straight movements to the downside, I think are definitely a possibility today. And this stop hunt or the stop hunt to the upside kind of what we saw today, this morning, with the New York Open. Like I said, we got up into the low 1100s when they opened, but as you can see, we're already starting to see a retrace to the downside. And I think those little short movements to the upside are nothing more than more longs coming on board, like I just talked about, right here. And as you can see, we're working our way back down to this downside right now. We're underneath we're in a very crowded area right now. This 1100, you see all this volume in here. There's a lot of people trading on that 1100. So I think when we do decide to make that move, it's probably going to be pretty quick. And, when we get down to 1,000 psychological for a lot of people, because 1,000 is a big number. And when we break below that, we have a wick down at, what was it, like 988, 985.
Yeah, like right in the 930 area.
Yeah, so that wick's still out there to be recovered. So, and as we mention all the time, wicks normally do get recovered. Pay close attention, because if we break a lower low out of that, we're going to definitely see some lower prices. I have a bottom target right now, 582. Just getting that out there. I know I've said it a few times on the show. B. Wellington's is a little bit lower, and I'm not going to disagree with him on that. But you were like 400,
300. But look,
yeah.
But that's where the next major level of support is. and also, if we're talking about taking a bunch of liquidity that's been pumped into the system, and the Fed that essentially is taking all that liquidity out, that's where we were in March of 2020, when we had our initial vectors on the daily that brought us out of that brought us into the all-time highs. Now, if we're going to stay consistent with the strategy, shout out to Tino and Traders Reality, if we're going to stay consistent with the strategy, then we need to take in consideration that we have a vector that right. starts at $300, and if we recover that vector, which is also support, then there's a possibility that we can wick down there and go ahead and get that. Here's the other thing I'll tell you though. We're projecting to the downside all day, but bear markets have bear market rallies, and some of these bear market rallies can be vicious if enough shorts get on board. As far as placing liquidity above where we're at. And sure. So even though we're suggesting that the market can go down further, which I would say 100%, but I'm 80% sure. I am also pretty positive that we may get a run to the upside, a significant run to the upside, not all-time highs. That 1,800 number that we talked about, I think that's a great projection for, if we do get a bear market rally, which can be significant as well. So we're in a very indecisive area. So I wouldn't be letting anything run out too much, because we can make a run to the upside pretty quick. And then following that upside, when everybody gets on board, then they can rip them legs out and come all the way down to the numbers that we've talked about. So I think that's why we're a little bit more cautious right now, is just because we haven't had a real bear market rally thus far, and we know that it's coming.
Heck yeah. So as you can see, we're already starting to make some movements to the downside. Big area to pay attention to is the bottom end of this chart volume profile, 1086, which is right where we have a wick to get recovered. So let's see if we get a bounce down here, or if we continue to follow up. Leave a comment in our chat here on the channel. Subscribe to our page. We're going to get some new content, new platforms out for us to start sharing our signals with everyone this week. Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and on Discord, we're going to invite you guys to come in and trade with us. Trade with us free for 1 month, and if there's something that you like, then we would like to have a small paid service for you guys. But you're going to be live trading with us every day. And I definitely think after 1 free month, you guys are definitely going to see the seed of your reward with the profits that we're bringing to the table for you guys, because we proved it. We can do it. And again, this is something we're very passionate about. And we look forward to helping everybody out because that's what we do. We're Team Trading Bros here, and
Team Trading Bros.
that's all we got. So we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Until next time, AMF.